Alright, so I don't normally do review videos due to the fact that I don't have anything to review. But now that I've been riding a Honda Crf150f for a fair amount of time now, I mean about a month, pretty much every day, I think I have about 350 miles down, 350 miles tracked, I thought it would be a good time to try to review it. So, here's the review of the Honda Crf150f. Alright, so to get things straight, it is a trail bike. You are not going to race on it. I mean, you could if you really wanted to, but even me, just doing normal trail riding, riding over small rocks and stuff, I bottom out the suspension. So if you were to try to use it on a racetrack, I've never raced, so I have no prior knowledge of this, but I'm assuming from my biking background that on bigger jumps you use up more suspension, so you're not going to be able to race it. But what it is a great beginner bike. It's bomb-proof. I mean, we're running it without oil. We haven't cleaned the air filter. If you look back in my other videos, we've gone into mud as deep as the seat, and somehow the air filter has not gone filled. The engine, even though it's not powerful, it still has a fair amount of torque due to the low trail gearing. I mean, it'll get a tad buzzy at times. You'll run out of that gearing real quick, especially if you're on the road trying to get to the trails. I mean, I'm out there holding it pinned in fifth gear and it'll do like 55, 56. I've hit 62. I don't know how I hit 62 on it, but it did hit 62. But the engine is not made to be fast. It is made to be reliable. And so far, I mean, no oil, so that's pretty impressive. Probably do want to put oil in it eventually. Probably do want to do a little bit of maintenance, but I don't roll like that, you know what I mean? I think the biggest issue on that bike for me is how heavy it is. I'm 6 feet tall and in decent shape, and there's times where I have trouble picking it up out of mud. We got it stuck in one of those videos where the mud was up to the seat, and with the mud suction, I had to get under it, pick it up by the frame. It's like 230 pounds or 40 pounds, which for how much power it puts out is quite poor. I think it could be around 260 wet. Who knows? No matter how many times you crash that thing, I mean, trust me, I've probably crashed it like 20 times, and my friend who owns it's probably crashed it like 10, 15 times in the past month or whatnot. It's still going, you know? It's a tank. I mean, that's all there really is to it. If you want a good beginner bike that's a tank, that's what you go for. I mean, it's a Honda CRF. I don't even know why I'm reviewing it in the first place. I mean, the whole review could be summed up as it's a tank with a soft suspension. Not too much power, but there's a little bit of power. I mean, like, you can wheelie it. If you drop the clutch in second, it'll almost do power wheelies in first, but then it'll get buzzy and rev out. You'll lose, you'll just go wham and it just won't go, you know what I mean? But, I mean, this whole review could be summed up as it's a tank, you know? I mean, that's pretty much how I'm going to sum it up. I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, the clutch will take all the abuse. The chain likes to get loose a little bit, but that's after riding in a lot of mud. We don't clean them because we're lazy. Stuff like that, you know. I mean, we ride them off of everything. I would suggest if you did get one used, per se. I mean, the prices are great. You can get them so cheap, and no matter what the past person did to it, there's chances are that it'll still run great. They're jetted lean from the factory. And if you change the jets out, it's like $6 per jet. You get I think it's like it's quite lousy. I wish it had a kickstart along with that. If you do get one used, you can put on a few upgrades, like people like getting better shifting levers for your foot because the main one's quite lousy. The brake lever is quite small on this one for the foot peg lever, whatever you want to call it. So I get a new one of those. You could also get a different pipe, but I mean, it's not meant to be a performance bike. And I mean, you can turn it into a performance bike. BBR did it, but it's like $20,000, and they bored it out to 175 cc or something like that. And you could put CR80 shocks on the front. But I mean, at that point, you're just better off getting a different bike.